What's up, Internet? My name's Ori. It is Monday, August 25th, day number 49 inside the Big Brother house. Rachel's slip up brings her closer to danger. Wine drama stirs up the house. And it was Lauren's birthday. Anybody want a White Claw? Let's talk about that, plus all the intel drama and more from yesterday's live feeds. But first, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Speaking of, we were live for a watch party last night here on the channel. For last night's episode, we saw the BB Unlocked, which was a little bit too much. We saw the HOH competition, which was the wall comp, and also the nomination ceremony. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, and the only reason we did it was because you hit 2,000 likes on the last video, so thank you so much for all that love. A little bit of a recap for you. If you haven't been keeping up with everything going on this week, Vince pulled off a win in the wall competition. He is now the HOH, and he nominated Mickey, Kelly, and Ava as he tried to straddle the middle of this very split house. But Mickey went on to win the power of veto, meaning that Vince now has to make a renom, and there's not many good options left that wouldn't potentially blow up his entire game. During yesterday's update, as I was recording, Morgan was still up in the HOH room, just trying to talk to Vince about what his potential nominations would be. They stayed up pretty much all night long until eventually going to bed in the have-not room. And she even said, like, I wish I wasn't a have-not so I could just sleep up here. So that was a whole situation with Morgan and Vince. A lot of people have some theories about it. I'm just saying it makes you ask some questions. I mean, there's some questions to be asked about that. Vince does have a girlfriend, and I believe she even did give him the green light, right? Like, hey, if you got to go flirt and do some stuff, go on and do it for your game. So maybe that's all this is that's happening. But speaking of Vince, all yesterday he was pretty much just crashing out about having to name a renom and just feeling pressured each and every way on what he should actually do. And even at one point, like just kind of breaking down and saying, like, what if I just do what I effing want to do? Right? Like, what about me? What about my decisions? Right? Right. How about that? What if I just do what I want? Lots of people were pitching, lots of people were pushing him each and every different way. Keanu actually, even at one point, tried to pitch a new name, realizing that, maybe Vince just needs a different option. And he actually came up with, I think, is a pretty good one for him based off of the information that Keanu knows, right? Keep in mind that Keanu has no idea that the judges are really a thing. And he pitched that Will should be the one to go on the block, which, again, I think is actually a decent pitch from Keanu, just throwing out a different name that maybe would end up sticking for Vince. And it's maybe the first time we've heard Will's name come up as a potential nominee in a very, very long time. While all that was kind of going on, we had Catherine and Lauren kind of meeting up, and Lauren was filling in Catherine that, yeah, like there's a good shot that you would be the potential nominee going up on the block. This didn't really make Lauren or make Catherine feel too great. And as Keanu was heading downstairs, he actually ran into Catherine, who was crying. He brings her on up to the gym where he gives her kind of a little pep talk before she can go talk to Vince again. And it was actually during that second meeting that she had with Vince, where I think she gave actually a pretty good, passionate speech about, trying to stay off the block and, trying to work with Vince. And I think it was a pretty good job, even potentially swaying Vince a little bit to actually go back towards Rachel as the nominee. But then Rachel didn't do herself any favors. So Rachel and Keanu had a little back and forth, and Vince, would he put Rachel up on the block? Keanu doesn't think Vince would do that. He doesn't think he has it in him to actually take that shot at Rachel. And Keanu wanted to make sure that, listen, Rachel, if you hear that I was saying your name, just know it was a lie and it's not true. Vince actually goes and tells Rachel, like, yeah, Keanu's been saying your name to go up on as the block, as the replacement, which then Rachel went and pretty much confirmed with Keanu when she asked him again, like, hey, were you throwing my name out there, right? Was this a thing that you were doing? And Keanu pretty clearly was lying, as he was kind of like, no, I mean, no, hey, I told you that's a lie. That is not true. But the thing is, Keanu then went and asked Vince, hey, were you telling Rachel that I was throwing her name out there? Which then made Vince very mad. And now he was back on, hey, I think Rachel's got to go up on the block. The thing is, he starts to realize that maybe he doesn't have the votes to get Rachel out this week, and that starts kind of pushing him on back a little bit. Even to the point, though, where Vince was definitely leaning towards Rachel. It was one of those things where even Morgan and Ashley said, like, listen, at this point, if Rachel goes on the block, she did it to herself. It's her own fault for being this messy with the Keanu information, right? She shouldn't have done that. We then also get to Lauren's birthday. And as you guys know, when it's someone's in the birthday in the Big Brother house, a couple of things can happen. One, sometimes they can level up. They become a better player in the game. There's also a tendency for drama. And well, we ended up with the drama here. There was some White Claw drama. We also had some wine drama. They were going around the table as like Lauren's birthday was happening. They were trying to give compliments to everybody and just trying to have a good time. And then I guess like while this was happening, Rachel was asking for more wine, and Kelly and Catherine decided like that should be a thing. And they were trying to say like they were taking away from Vince's moment as of getting a compliment because it was Vince who was getting complimented at that time. There was something about a White Claw and Rachel kind of slamming the door. I think the White Claw even was poured out at one point. So there was just a lot of drama going on here. Morgan and Ashley told Rachel, like, listen, you need to go talk to Vince and you need to be nice and clear all this up. Rachel did then pull Vince into like the wine lounge and said, like, Catherine and Kelly are just trying to start drama and stir things up so that Rachel goes up instead of Catherine. And she said, I didn't even want the White Claw. I just didn't want Kelly to have it. Rachel said to Vince, like, listen, we just need to stick to the plan, stick to the alliance. Let's make good TV. Rachel also says, like, this is Big Brother. This is the 25th anniversary. I need to be involved. They didn't bring me here to go pre-jury. Let's ride to the final five. Don't let, Kelly poison your brain. She's crazy. She's a psycho. Like, actually, I think there's and the feed's cut off. Like they didn't let her finish that statement. We then though get a little bit of proof on what Rachel was talking about here. If you think about it this way, Kelly went to go give hugs to kind of everybody that was in the hammock. And she was saying like, oh, good night, Mickey, good night, Morgan, good night, Rachel. And Rachel's like, yeah, okay, I don't need a hug. And Kelly asked, why? Why don't you want a hug? And Rachel's just, yeah, I don't want a hug. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't want a hug. And Kelly said, like, is it because I won't clean? Rachel said, yeah, Kelly, yeah. That's exactly it. You're not cleaning, and that's why I don't want to give you a hug. Ashley told Rachel, like, listen, you need to chill, right? Like, that's not going to be good. Like, that's what's going to get you up on the block. And even then, like, you were pretty good until Keanu ended up ratting you out to Vince. And Rachel's like, I effing hate him. Talking about Keanu. And later she ended up saying, like, I am no longer fooled. Tell my husband I'm no longer fooled. So it seems like Rachel now is fully not going to trust Keanu ever again going forward in the game, you would think. Vince kept getting multiple people coming on into his room over and over and over, trying to be the last one to get up on there with him and bend his ear before the renoms. Even when to the point where he's like, literally collapsing in the bed because he's so tired. People are still coming up trying to be that person to talk to him. Lauren was in there at one point. And she kind of just continues to talk about how like she's worried about Kat going up and says that, if, Catherine had actually told her that if Vince doesn't put her up the block, not only would she keep Vince safe if she would win HOH, she would also keep Morgan safe as well. And they kind of keep going over all the Kelly and Rachel drama. Morgan kind of swaps on in and she comes in to kind of push the opposite end of that where Catherine should go up instead of Rachel. Vince says like he feels like he's making the deal with the devil when he's making a deal with Rachel. He says he might go down as like the stupidest player in history if he doesn't put Rachel up on the block, and she's just gonna come after him. Morgan says like like that's not gonna happen, and eventually Mickey even comes on up to try and talk about what's going on, and Morgan is like I don't know if I can take this anymore. I really don't know if I can. It's then at that point when then Keanu starts coming on up and Morgan's like, yeah, I'm done. I can't take this. I'm going to bed. And as she's leaving, right, like she leaves to go out into the hallway before Keanu even gets up there, We don't see it on the feeds, but you can hear from her microphone. She just says to Keanu, like, "Are you okay?" So that's all happening. Keanu does give Mickey and Vince the HOH room. He's like, yeah, I just kind of wanted to have a chat, but he gives them the time to kind of go and have that chat. And that went on for a very long time because Mickey wanted to kind of, keep Keanu from getting on in there. She was doing that little bit of a filibuster technique where she's like, listen, I'll be the last one in the room. Mickey is very good at this, right? So she talks to him about everything going on and how, Rachel is the one that really should be going up. We had Rachel actually come up for a little bit, and Vince couldn't even tell Rachel, right? Like, hey, can me and Mickey have a minute? Like, she just comes on in and joins. Eventually, though, Rachel goes to bed. Keanu tries to come up again, but Mickey actually locks the door, not letting Keanu in. He like posts up outside the HOH room. He's like on the balcony, kind of leaning there. He's going over, he's ringing the doorbell every so often. He's like, I just want to play some pool with my buddy. It was a battle of who could be the last to talk to Vince. And Mickey was definitely winning until Keanu's like, you know what? I guess I'm just gonna go to bed. He was like downstairs at the kitchen table drinking his tea, and it seemed like, all right, he's going to bed. So this was Mickey's perfect chance to kind of slip on out and head on out, because that's all she really wanted to do was keep Keanu from being the one in there with Vince. Vince gets all ready for bed, and wouldn't you know, it was a ruse. Keanu hid in the storage room. Keanu actually, as I'm recording this right now, is up there in bed with Vince trying to talk his ear off on what he should do with the renom. I'm telling you, this is going to be a back and forth situation all the way up into the morning before the actual veto ceremony. I don't know exactly which way Vince will end up going because there's a lot of different ways that are pulling him. I think his gut, I think his gut is telling him, you got to put up Rachel. But there's so much going on with the different people who are saying that, if you put up Rachel, it's bad for your game. And then there's so many people on the other side saying that you got to put up Catherine. And he's also just worried in general about having the votes to get Rachel out of the game. Let's take a look here. Just kind of an idea of how things are all breaking down right now, right? I really do think that putting up Rachel or Ashley is Vince's best way of kind of keeping the numbers even on both sides of the house so that he can do a little bit of this floater game that he's really trying to accomplish here and make sure he's stuck right in the middle. Because if you do get rid of Catherine, that really weakens that side of the house where now you have to jump on over there and be a number or else they're really kind of doomed. But because of that situation, it then makes it even harder to make sure that Rachel would go. So let's just kind of play this out a little bit here, right? Mickey comes off the block, and now Rachel's up on the block. You have Ava, Rachel, and Kelly. In the Ava situation, anybody who is up against Ava will go home. Rachel would go home, Kelly would go home. So if Ava's on the block next to you, it's a death sentence. The problem is, you then have to worry about if Kelly or Rachel would win the blockbuster, what would end up happening, right? Or if Ava would win the blockbuster, what would end up happening? So if you had Rachel versus Kelly, right? There's a good chance that Rachel would end up staying. She would have Will, Morgan, Ashley, and Mickey's vote all locked up. You would then have Lauren, Keanu, and Catherine over on the other side. Ava, if she wins that blockbuster, probably votes to keep Rachel. Rachel stays, Kelly goes, and then you took this shot and put Rachel up on the block, and she doesn't even go home. You can also then hope, right, that if, Kelly can pull off the win in the blockbuster, Rachel goes. But again, you're then leaving it to chance that if Ava were to win that blockbuster or even Rachel were to win that blockbuster, you put Rachel up on the block and she might not even go home. So that's kind of Vince's big worry right now on why he feels hesitant to put Rachel up on the block because there is that chance he does all this and it doesn't work and he misses the shot. And if he misses that shot, he's a dead man in this game. But if he takes that shot and he's able to hit, I actually think it would be a great move for him. It really kind of opens up that other side of the house, right? They're going to be upset that he kind of blew up the judges, but he can kind of fix that. He can mend that a little bit and be like, listen, Rachel was the one that was going to have all of us split up and all of us going after each other. She was going to get all the way to the end. This now opens it up for us to get there to the end instead of her, and we don't have to drag her along anymore. So I think Rachel would be his best move, but it's a little bit dangerous, it's a little bit risky, and it's not guaranteed that that shot would land, and that's what's keep holding him back. His other options, right, would be to put up Catherine. Catherine would be kind of somebody that he could put up on the block, and it wouldn't really affect him that much. Obviously, he hurts a little bit with Lauren because that's Lauren's kind of really close friend in the house. It hurts that side of the house where Keanu's going to be upset if Catherine would go up because that's one of their numbers. Kelly wouldn't be happy with this either. So he does really get that side of the house more upset with him. Whereas I think the other side, if Rachel ended up going up, I don't think it's the end of the relationship for him with Morgan. I don't think it's the end of the world of his relationship with Will or Ava. Probably with Ashley, sure, but even Mickey, I think maybe he could still kind of make something happen there. And Mickey, she's at the bottom of the house right now, and I feel like she's still kind of at that position where nobody really trusts her, but she is kind of more of a number for the other side than anything else, but she is still trying to kind of play a little bit of that middle end a little bit as well, but she definitely wants to keep Rachel safe this week because she feels like Rachel would be a good shield for her to have around in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Like I said, Keanu's up there with Vince right now. He doesn't seem to want to do any of this. He just wants to go to bed. I just want to go to bed. But no, thank you guys all so much for watching. Oh, one of the other things I wanted to mention before we go, when Rachel was up there talking to Vince, one of the things that she ended up saying was that she has a big speech planned for Thursday should she win HOH. So she said it's not for Vince. I'm pretty sure she was talking about Keanu. And if Rachel does end up staying, if Rachel wins HOH, she is calling out Keanu. So that would be a really exciting moment that we could end up seeing as well. But what do you guys think of everything that's going on, right? Should Vince put up Rachel? Should Vince put up Catherine? What should he do with this renom today? The veto ceremony will be today, so we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. I'm going to end up calling it here. Like I said, Keanu is still up there trying to talk to Vince. I'll fill you guys in on everything that goes on with this, with the veto ceremony and all that on tomorrow's update. Thank you guys all once again for all the love and support you guys give me here on this channel. It's just been amazing and so overwhelming with just all of that what you guys do to really help this channel grow, and I cannot thank you guys enough. If you are new here though, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. You'll never miss a video. You'll never miss a stream. Thank you guys all again. I know I say it a lot, and I never wanted to kind of wear out, but I really truly mean it. That without you guys, none of this is really possible. Check out the links to all of my socials in the description, pin comment down below. You can check out things like Twitter and Discord. Discord's a great place to kind of hang out, find other, Big Brother fans, but not just places where you can talk about Big Brother in the live feeds. There's places where you can talk about Survivor Australia versus the world. If you need help watching that, there's some ways to figure it out over there. We just remodeled everything in the Discord, so it's really easy to find different cool places to chat. Go on, check out that. It's a lot of fun. Check out things like the Ori Fund. Help support Oris everywhere. Never required, always appreciated. But really, thank you guys all once again, and I will see you tomorrow.
Oh, Lord. Oh, what in the hell I got myself into in this house? What in the hell?